Welcome to episode 2 of Military Veterans Podcast, where we talk to veterans to learn about their stories and experiences. Today, we are joined by AJ Pingram.
Hiya, how you doing?
Hi, AJ. How you doing today?
Yeah, good, thank you.
I'm doing all right as well, thanks. I'm doing all right. It's quite hard work putting all this stuff up, I tell you. So I'm a bit hot, but I'm sure we'll get through it. So thank you so much for joining us on the show.
No problem at all.
And inviting me into your home. This is your episode, so this is all about learning who AJ is, where AJ came from, and what you're up to these days. So let's dive right in.
Okay then.
And let's start. Where did you grow up?
So I grew up in Tamworth in Staffordshire. It was lovely little town, 26 miles from Birmingham, but surrounded by countryside. Wonderful place to grow up.
Yeah?
Yeah, very good.
Did you spend your whole childhood there?
Yes, yeah, spent my whole childhood there, apart from school holidays, because my dad was a scuba diver, so we spent every school holiday at the sea, in rock pools and in the sea, and having great fun.
Nice. Did you do scuba diving at a young age?
No, I didn't. I learnt to snorkel, but by the time I was old enough to learn to scuba dive, my dad had stopped then. So
Okay.
It was a shame.
Yeah.
It's on my bucket list.
Do you have any kind of like stories from your childhoods that stand out?
It was a great childhood. It was a great way to sort of to grow up being by the sea all the time. There was always things to explore and caves to go in cliffs and climbing cliffs and body surfing. So it was, it was good. It was enjoyable time to be in nature, really.
Nice. And at school, did you go to school as well in that area, or was it?
In Tamworth, yes.
Yep.
I wasn't very good at school. Dyslexia hadn't been invented then, so it was.
Okay.
I thought I was pretty thick at school. Reading and writing were not great, but I enjoyed art and practical subjects. So it was,
nice.
High school was great because we got to build a plane for the. There was a bet between the two technology teachers that we couldn't build a plane that Mr. Cooper could fly around the school field. So from scratch, from nothing, we built the fuselage, all of the pulley systems for the flaps and the ailerons and the rudder. We converted a Citroen 2CV engine to it ran on its side. The only thing we didn't make was the propeller because that had to be precision made. But it worked and everything. And Mr. Cooper flew it around the school field. So
nice.
Yeah, it was.
That's cool.
Yeah,
building a whole aeroplane.
Yeah, that was great.
And that was secondary school, was it?
Yes, it was. Yeah.
Awesome. Did you do anything in particular at secondary school, like sports or anything like that? Did you?
No, I tried. It wasn't for want of trying. I was tiny at secondary school. I was about 4'0" and 7 stone all the way through, and I couldn't coordinate my feet or catching. I was pretty rubbish at everything. And then as I hit puberty and sort of age 15. I started to grow. I started to weight train, and I got bigger and stronger. Then all of a sudden, my coordination kicked in, and I could play football. I could play rugby. I could play cricket. I could play hockey, and it was great. I really enjoyed it.
Nice. So yeah, you sound like a kid similar to me, where getting hands on stuff was really the only way you learnt.
Yes. I remember we had an old VCR video recorder, and I took it apart when I was at primary school.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Did you put it back together?
I did put it back together, but I had some parts left over. So.
Did it work?
It still worked.
Okay, that's good. Fantastic. And so that was your childhood. And then obviously you joined the military, because otherwise you wouldn't be on the podcast.
Yeah.
So what made you join the military? And in particular, what did you join?
So I grew up in a military family. As far as I can remember, every member of my family, virtually every member, has been in the military.
Okay.
My granddad was in Bletchley Park in the Second World War. My other granddad was taken prisoner of war in Italy. So it's so both sides of the family served. My dad and his two brothers were in the Royal Navy, and I sort of grew up in a Royal Navy family, and it seemed the right progression to go forward. I was interested in engineering, and there's big engineering in the Navy, so that's what I ended up doing. So.
Oh, nice. So did you know or feel that you would go down that road whilst you're at school and growing up?
I actually wanted to be a fashion designer at school.
Yeah.
Yeah. My dad told me to get a proper job, which I now understand he meant it's hard to be a fashion designer. There's not many opportunities.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas if you get a trade, then you've got more of a career choice.
Okay.
So, so I had to work really hard, and fair play to my parents. They got me a tutor because I left school with no GCSEs.
Right.
So I went to college, and a tutor at college who I still talk to today, called Val, went on this course and said, AJ, I think you might be dyslexic. And I was like, oh, what's that? And she started teaching me differently, and I ended up with an A and a B in English, and then getting a C in maths. And I got learned languages. I got a C in German, and it was good. And science started to make sense as well, just by learning differently.
Yeah, yeah.
And so it's all sort of sprang from there, really.
Amazing.
So,
and was that all before you joined the service?
yes, because I needed to get C's
Got
in science, maths, and English to join as an engineer.
Right. So you knew you wanted to join as an engineer, and therefore that was what pushed you to learn again, learn more, get higher grades.
Yes, I wanted to be a Royal Marine.
Oh yeah, nice. Okay.
But I was too scared.
You were too scared.
Yes, it was. I had to wait 2 years to join, and so I got a video recording of Royal Marine officer training that was on the BBC or something, and that was my training video.
Right.
So everything I did, all of the fitness, I joined a marathon running club in Tamworth. So 3 times a week we'd be running at least 10 miles, and I was doing press ups, sit ups. I could smash pull ups out, and I was 9.5 stone, ripped 6-pack, super fit, and it was just the fear of going to the Royal Marines.
What was it? What was it in particular? Did you see something on a video that you thought that's not me, or
no? Everything was brilliant. Everything I seen on the TV and everything, I thought, that's amazing. I want to do that, and it was the fear of not being good enough.
Okay.
It was,
yeah.
So it was the demons in my head were attacking me then.
So what age were you doing that?
So this is from the age of 15. I started
15
to like doing the weight training and going to exercise classes and men's keep fit classes.
Yeah.
It's it was.
But you enjoyed doing that?
Oh yes, yeah, absolutely. I loved it. One of the proudest moments at school was when I did more on the leg press than our PE teacher did. And he was a right so and so. He was one of those that liked to show off, and he was like, "Oh yeah, I do this and I do that," and he did the leg press. And I'd already been going to the gym for a while, and he was demonstrating the gym to our class. And I followed him onto the leg press, and he said, "You'll need to move that down." And I told my mate to move it up, and then did a set. So it was
nice.
Yeah.
So there's you training to go in the Marines, and you choose not to. But
Yeah.
go down the route of the family and
Yes,
join
yeah.
the Navy?
Yeah, as a marine engineer, so not nuclear propulsion, sorry, mechanical engineering.
Okay.
So it's yeah, and that's what my dad and one of my uncles did. The other one was an aircraft engineer.
Cool.
So, yeah, so it's
Now, you have to give me some slack because I don't know too much about the Navy. So, like in the Army, we have regiments and corps, things like that. What do you have in the Navy? Is it like squadrons or sections, or what determines the different areas?
It's departments, really.
Departments.
So it's in the engineering department, you've got mechanical, electrical, weapons. So mechanical and electrical are called stokers because back in the day they used to stoke the fires.
Nice.
So in my dad's day, he worked on steam, so they had steam propulsion and everything. And then you've got the weapons engineers who, as it pretty much says, deals with all the weapon systems and everything.
And so what year did you join the Navy?
I joined the Navy in 1996 after having 2 years in the Territorial Army.
Oh, okay. Okay, so you were in the Territorial Army,
Yes.
but then you went for the Navy.
Yes,
Okay.
yeah. As I said, I loved everything about the Royal Marines.
Yeah.
And in Tamworth, there was a TA base, and it was the 1st Prince of Wales Regiment, light infantry, and it was great fun. It was running around in fields screaming and covered in camo, and found my war face and did some bayonet training. Looked like Norman Wisdom stabbing sandbag men. As a young 16-year-old, it was absolutely amazing. Yeah, some eye-opening things as well. It was. I remember one training weekend. We'd been doing stuff all day. We'd been up like the night before, then up early, and then they put us in this room with comfy seats, and they closed the curtains, and they gave us cups of tea, and it was really nice and warm. And then they put this big screen TV on and put a porn film on.
Oh, no.
And I was 16 and this porn film's going on. 40 minutes they played it for. And then they gave us an observation test on what we'd watched in the... Unbelievable. It was like, what colour were the curtains in this room and what colour was the carpet, and the man was wearing a ring, what colour was the stone in it. And
Wow.
so, unbelievable observation training.
Yeah. I never went through that. So my question is, what kind of... Was you not enticed to join the Army if you enjoyed all of that so much?
I don't want to sound disrespectful. It seemed like it wasn't high enough.
Okay.
And that sounds horrible. I've got massive respect for people in the Army. As a kid, the woods that we at the edge of Tamworth are called Hopworth Woods, and me and my cousins used to play in there. And the ranges from Whittington Barracks are there, and we used to watch them. The paratroopers used to train on the barrage balloons there. And
yeah.
so we used to sit on the edge of the woods and watch them stepping out the barrage balloons, and think, oh, that'd be great fun, that would. And we used to go onto the ranges and get spent rounds out the sandbanks and stuff. And yeah, it just I don't know, it just didn't seem to have the same glamour as the Royal Marines did. And it's
yeah. I get you. I mean, for me, Navy never crossed my mind once. That just didn't tick my boxes.
Yeah, I think because the Army base is so close to Tamworth, most people join the Navy.
Right.
Because back in the 90s, when I was sort of leaving school and everything, the squaddies used to come into the town and cause so much trouble. They had such a bad name, and like a lot of the paratroopers and everything. And it's I don't know. It didn't seem good. I suppose it's one of those. It's some people wanted to and did join, and a lot of people still do join the army from Tamworth.
Yeah.
But there is a big. It's one of the furthest places from the sea, and I think there's a lot of people want to go to the coast.
Yeah, it's strange, isn't it, when we're younger, how certain areas of the military we're not enticed to join, or we are in. That's our drive to go and join it.
Yeah.
So yeah, great respect for Marines as well. I just knew I wasn't strong enough, I suppose, to do that. So I suppose I never even thought about joining. And it's always been the army for me. But that brings us to you joining. So you joined the Navy.
Yes.
So obviously they had to train you to become a sailor. Is that what your class says? Yeah.
Yeah. So you do 8 weeks basic training, which was great. I loved it. It was like the videos that I'd been watching and training for and rolling around in the mud. And it was 21st of January that I went, and the obstacle course was frozen. We had to smash the ice, and at the end of it, there's a concrete wall and a metal chain, and that was frozen to the concrete, and we had to kick it off. And yeah,
wow.
And yeah, it was wonderful. And then going back to the barracks and getting sprayed with the fire hose to get all the mud off, and yeah. So, and learning drill, I'd already been doing some stuff with the air cadets to learn how to march and things. It was all my preparation had been ready for it. So it was, yeah, it wasn't. I didn't find it hard. It was enjoyable. It was. Yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, if you're trained to be a Marine,
yeah.
And then, again, no disrespect to the Navy, but the Marines are another class.
That's it. Yeah.
So yeah, I'm guessing you did find it easy. Whereabouts did the Navy do training?
In Plymouth, HMS Raleigh. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So we had a Royal Marine drill instructor called Sergeant Paul. He was an immense man. He was 5 foot tall and 5 foot wide. And he talked like that. All right, lads. And I talked to him about the Marines and everything. And he came and watched one of our PT sessions, and I ended up doing 50-odd press-ups, over 100 sit-ups, and sprints, climbing ropes with no legs. And he said I needed to transfer. And fair play to him. He came to see the chief of our training squad, and said that I should transfer to the Royal Marines. And the chief said, no, he can't, because he's Pingram's going to submarines. And excuse my French, Pingram said, no, he's fucking not. And but they'd already decided, and it must to do with my engineering aptitude scores and everything. I was down to do nuclear propulsion, and
wow.
Yeah, which was a bit of a shock when you don't really sign up for something. Yeah.
So you, just to ask, you signed up for the Navy.
Yes.
But you hadn't. Had you signed up for anything in particular?
No.
So you hadn't by that point. But they just told you.
I signed up for engineering.
Right.
So I knew I was doing engineering, but not submarines.
Not submarines.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I was like, well, I don't want to go. And so the chief said, you've got two choices. You either leave, you could do I can't remember what the abbreviation was, but basically you can drop out of training, or you can carry on. And it was like, well, I'm not quitting. Mm. And in hindsight, I should have, and then put my papers in to join the Marines. But it was one of those, you take your choices. Yeah. I didn't want to let anybody down. I didn't want everyone to think that I'd found it too hard and quit.
Yeah, yeah.
And it was, so it was, that was the road, the path I took.
Nice.
So, so once I'd finished basic training, you then moved to Plymouth, HMS Sultan, which is the biggest land base in Europe.
Wow.
Yeah, so it was two sides of a road with bridges over and everything, and an amazing place, really good. And any type of engineering, whether it's they did some aircraft, but mainly nuclear propulsion and the ships for electrical and for mechanical. So it was, great place, and a great place to learn as well.
I'm gonna ask some more questions about that.
Okay.
But I want to just go back to basic.
Yeah.
So I obviously went through Army basic.
Yeah.
Navy basic, is it the same kind of concept as the Army? So do they teach you how to shower, how to run, how to clean your stuff, how to sort your locker out? Or what kind of stuff does basic look like for a Navy?
So week 1 is new intake, and it's initial fitness. So you've got to prove that you're fit enough to join. Surprising how many people weren't. I was quite shocked.
Okay.
And people couldn't swim. I was like, "What? You're joining the Navy? How could you like?" So there was people on remedial swimming lessons and stuff, and so that was beyond me. But treading water, I got told off by the PT staff for being too casual. I was treading water, having a conversation with my chief on the side. So she was stood there, and I can't remember what we were chatting about, but I'm in the water. I'm just lying there sort of floating about. I'm a proper water baby, and I was in my element. And the PT staff is, "You're not on holiday." like, concentrate on what you're doing. I'm I've got to tread water for 5 minutes. So it's...
You found that easy?
Yeah. So I enjoyed, you have to step off the high board, and as you're dropping down, you cross your legs so you don't squash your spuds with your arms out. And then as you hit the water, you push your arms down to your sides. And the trick is your head doesn't go under the water. And I could do it. I was chuffed. It was that was a new thing for me. That was, a lot of fun.
So that's the beginning part. Do you remember the rest?
Yes. So then you move on, and you're they teach you seamanship, so knots and things like that. They teach you the boring stuff. For me was like pay and tax lessons. I fell asleep in one of those. I had to go and run from the classroom down to the obstacle course, which was a mile, fill every pocket in my fives, so shirt and trousers, with sand, and run back and report to the officer. So I'm stood there to attention, every pocket full. He's like, "Right, yeah, go and put them back." And he says, "I can see." You could from here. So it was a 4 mile run, basically. I had to go there and back again. And then I had to report the next day with the same fives on, so we could inspect that there was no sand in my pocket. So
wow.
So it's So
and you mentioned you do a bit of drill as well.
Yes, so, drill was great. I remember shocking. Her name was Sarah Hocking. She was next to me, and we were doing drill, and she turned the wrong way, and her boot went straight down the middle of my number 1 toe cap. Because you're pulling your boots constantly. And Sergeant Paul walked over, looked at my boot, and went, "Oh." And that was it. So it's so I was polishing away for hours and hours again. So it was brilliant, really good. I enjoyed it a lot.
And then you completed that?
Yes, yeah.
So in the Army we call it a pass out parade.
Yes.
Is it called the same?
Yeah.
Yeah. Family come down and stuff like that?
Yes, yeah. So my parents and grandparents came down, and it was a lot of fun. We were gutted because we were the best at a drill, and they have a competition in the week before pass out. Who's going to be the guard for the passing out parade? And we were hands down the best. And I think the nerves must have got to us, and yeah, we were in tears as a squad. It was because we wanted that honour of being the guard, and yeah, I think we just messed up. At the end.
What does that? What does the guard do? Are they the ones that march at the front or something?
Yes, yeah. So they have the fixed bayonets and like epaulets on and everything, and
Nice.
yeah.
That's different from the army.
Oh, right.
Yeah,
Okay.
we don't have that.
Right.
We're just a whole section or squadron that march together. So yeah, it's a little bit different.
Do you train as like you join as a certain like branch? Is everybody in your basic the same?
So for me, typically Royal Engineer would go through basic with another bunch of Royal Engineers.
Right.
But for me, there was a very small section of Royal Engineers going through basic training at Lichfield, and they were basically trialing that out to see if it works. So we actually had a mix of infantry and engineers.
So you did basic training in Lichfield?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Why is that?
Well, that's Whittington Barracks.
Oh, is that Whittington Barracks?
Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So,
Small world.
yeah.
Oh, you just headbutted the mic.
Yeah,
Sorry if everybody heard a big mic sound there. Yeah, so that's where I went. So that was infantry and engineers. So yeah, but when we were doing things like the pass out parade, we'd just all basically march on together as one big squad. Yeah, so that's how that worked.
I've got a funny story about Lichfield, but it's we could do it later on if you want.
Do you want to do it later?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. So that sounds like basic, and then we'll move on to the next part of your training.
Yeah.
But in regards to basic, would you have any kind of advice or words of wisdom for new people that might be looking at joining the Navy? Because, I mean, you did mention how surprised you were about the lack of people that could swim to join the Navy.
Yeah.
So, I mean, maybe that's what you're going to give advice for, but anything for the new people that might be listening today?
Yeah, just train harder than you think it will be. Push yourself to your limits, not what the advice booklets say.
Okay.
So if the advice booklet says you need to be able to do 20 press-ups or whatever, if you can do 25 press-ups, then you're in a better situation than somebody else. It's for the fitness. If you can run, swim, and do exercise, then you're going to find it a lot better. And don't go and think, oh, it'll be all right, I'll get better as I get there. Aim high and then go in high, and then you don't have to do remedial swimming lessons or PT lessons, because time's precious. You need to work on your kit. Everything needs to be A4 size and immaculately ironed and washed by hand by scrubbing brush. So you haven't got the time to be doing extra fitness. It's
Yeah. So you did A4 size stuff as well?
Yes.
Yeah. Did you have smiley socks?
No, we didn't have. The most challenging one was you get issued with a boiler suit, and that had to be A4 size as well.
No way.
Yeah.
A boiler suit.
Yeah.
It's hard enough in a shirt or a t-shirt.
Yeah. So and we did it, and the class before, they're called diamonds. The people who have been there a long time and teach the new recruits sort of little tricks, and you put it in a plastic bag and then put your kit locker on top of it, and it squashes it so it's neat for your like kit inspections and things.
Yeah.
It's It's
awesome. Well, thanks for that. I'm sure someone will take that as a good advice. So thanks for sharing.
Hopefully so.
Yeah. So after basic, you then move on to the next phase of your training.
Yes, phase 2. Yep.
Phase 2 is what you call it.
Yep.
And that is your engineering, straight into engineering.
Yeah.
Wow. So what do you want to share from that part?
I really did enjoy it a lot. I love learning things, and it was from a kid at school who thought he was thick. my knowledge and my brain grew so much being in that military environment. You're encouraged to learn, to ask questions. There's no such thing as a stupid question. And you just go, and it was more practical. You could put your hands on things. So you'd be discussing an electrical system or a gas system, and you could actually, they had to have mock-ups of it, or you go to a ship and trace a system through, and so you knew what things were, how they worked. You take things apart, you put them back together again, and it was great. I really did enjoy it. It was
so a real ship. You went on a real ship to learn.
Yes, yeah.
Wow, that's
yeah.
cool.
So HMS Bristol, which my dad was the first crew on, and which he took around the world, is now in in Portsmouth, and you go and stay on board, and you look at the systems and the engine room and everything like that, and it's
so cool.
Yeah, so it's a good way of learning.
Yeah. Do you remember how long phase 2 was for you?
Well, it was longer than most.
Okay.
So I did the you do the initial part. I think it was. I do apologise. My memory.
It doesn't matter if you don't know exactly.
No, it's so many weeks. It might be 8 weeks that you're on Cinderella leave, it's called.
Okay.
So it means you have to be back on base by 12 o'clock midnight.
Oh,
So,
I see it.
Yeah. So, and it's like an introduction to engineering. So there's lots of exams and lots of things. So that first 8 weeks, then after that, you go either to mechanical, electrical, or like me, to submarine school. So, so after the 8 weeks, then I went to the submarine school, and it's the most chilled out place I've ever been. Submarines work so differently to any other part of the military. Rank is there, but everyone's first name terms. It's even the officers, and like I was new, and the officers it's not sir, it's like whatever their name was. And you could have drinks or things to eat in the lessons, and so it was quite a strange environment. Nice to be in. It was quite refreshing in the military, but they expected you to work hard, and it was good. And this was where my brain really took off. They were teaching us physics, basically, practical physics, and everyone was like, I don't get it. But my brain was like, yeah, this is simple. This does this, and this does this, and
wow.
And heat comes out at the end. And I got it so much so that one of the schoolies, that's the instructors, that's what we call them, came in one day and gave me a pack for the Open University to do a degree. He said, you know more, you understand more about physics than I do. And then this is an officer telling me, he says, you understand so much more about it. He says, you need to do a degree in this. And that was the first point where I thought, I'm not thick. It was, I just think differently. And it's, it was a proper changing point in my life, really. It was
nice.
Yeah, I realised that everyone's got something that they can do in life, and it's
yeah. So that one officer seeing your potential,
yes,
and giving you that boost.
Yeah, very much so. It's So so I'm going through the submarine school, and we're doing all of different tests and everything like that. Lots of medicals, because potentially a submarine can go under the water for a year, so they don't want anybody that's not fully fit and healthy. So they picked up in one of my medicals that I'd got asthma, but it wasn't there all the time. So it was quite strange. It would be there and then it'd be gone, and they didn't know whether it's to do with the weather or environment and so everything got sort of put on hold. Where I finished the submarine school and passed and everything. Everyone else went on to the tank, which they don't do anymore, which is unfortunate. But it was a 100-foot high swimming pool.
Wow. Okay.
And so it's a tower.
Yeah.
And you start off at 15 feet, and you step out after training, blowing out, and you come to the surface, and then you do 30 feet and blowing out, and there's a scuba dive instructor with you, and if you're not blowing out constantly, they punch you in the stomach to make you blow out. Otherwise you get the bends. And then once you've passed that one, then you go to 100 foot and come out in a safety survival suit.
Wow.
So I was pretty gutted that I didn't get to do that.
So you didn't do that at all?
No, they wouldn't let me because of they thought if with the asthma that my lungs might pop or something. It was so there was a lot of investigations going on around that, which meant they didn't know what to do. So they put me I asked to go into the mechanical side to do engines and everything. So I did that part of the course, past that. So then I did the electrical part of the course. So I was sort of in limbo, really. It was I wasn't sort of doing things. Then I ended up as a gym runner with the PTIs, and that was great. Really enjoyed that. And it was, and at this time, I got picked for the Royal Navy under-23 hockey team.
Really?
Yeah. So,
Whilst in phase 2?
Yes.
Nice.
In basic training, they knew about me playing hockey, and my chief played hockey for HMS Raleigh and tried to get me in the team, but it was only staff. It was only the people that were already in. No recruit had ever played for Raleigh, and they weren't going to let me. But Wednesday afternoons is sports afternoons in the. It was the same for the Army. Yeah. So we'd be playing hockey, and I remember one of the PTI saying, "Pingram, why are all these officers on my hockey pitch?" He says, "It's your fault, isn't it?" And I was like, "It's not my fault, staff. I just like playing hockey." And the Commodore and there'd be commanders watching, so the word was out that I was pretty good at hockey, and so they were at the side of the pitch watching, and in the end the PTI said, "You know more rules, so when you're not playing, you're being the umpire." So I had to be the ref as well.
Oh my god!
Yeah, so it's so that was quite good. So going through like phase 2, they'd already got me playing hockey, but HMS Sultan had the best hockey team. It was amazing. It was like playing for Real Madrid. It's
oh, okay.
Yeah, it was. We won everything. We even put 2 teams in the sixes competition and played each other in the final.
No way.
Yeah, so it was winning medals, and then playing Navy hockey as well, and it was brilliant. It was
And that's all within your first year of joining up?
Yes, yeah.
That's crazy.
So then there's people pulling strings to get me to do more courses, so I didn't go anywhere then. And I got put on a sports draft, so it's they moved me round to places that were in Portsmouth. so I could still carry on playing.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, it was quite strange. People got annoyed with it. I was meant to be on duty, so you like being on guard, and the Joss is like the man in charge of the guard. I phoned him up and said, I'm meant to be playing hockey for the Navy. Is there any chance that I could swap my guard and do it either before or after? And he was like, no, I'm sick of these sports people thinking they can do what they want. You're doing your guard. I was like, okay. So then I seen the PTI who was in charge of hockey. He phoned him up. No. The officer in charge of the PTIs, he phoned up. No. So then it got left. And then I got called in front of the Joss. And he said, you've got some in friends. And I was like, why? What's happened? He said, I've had an admiral on the phone telling me that you're playing hockey and not doing my guard.
An admiral.
Yeah. And it's, crazy.
That is crazy. So at this point, have you finished phase 2? Or because you said they were looking into your asthma type thing and doing different courses to kind of like fill the time, I suppose.
Yeah.
So did you officially like leave phase 2, or how did that work?
No.
Okay.
So,
okay.
It was more convenient for them, for me being on the base and playing hockey.
Okay.
Wasn't great for my career, but I was playing hockey, so I didn't care.
Yeah.
So then what they decided to do, that I'd been a HMS Sultan for too long.
That's the training establishment,
yeah. So you're not meant to, unless you're training people, you're not meant to live there.
Fair.
Yeah. So I got my own room, and I was.
Oh, you had?
Yeah.
Oh, no way.
Yeah. So it was. I got telly and everything, and it was so they moved me to basically HMS Sultan is in Gosport, and then you've got Portsmouth Harbour, and then Portsmouth. So they moved me into the dockyard and put me on HMS Ark Royal. And my warrant officer said, I understand you're here to play hockey. He says, but I want you to do some engineering as well. So I was like, fair enough. And so on the Ark Royal, it was in mothballs, but we were going to sell it. So that had to keep all the engines and all the gearboxes going and everything. And it was great. I really enjoyed it. It was saying that I got there and they reported to the chief, and I said, right, I'm here to join the ship. He said, yeah, no problem. I said, I got a slight problem though. I said, I play hockey. And he's like, right. He says, I've got the inter-services next week, so I need to leave again. And he's like, okay, radio. So he says, tell you what, have a walk around the ship, so I try and get used to the place. But he says, come back in 2 weeks after the hockey and we'll start again. So they were really good. They were they really sort of helped with the hockey, and so I really enjoyed being on the Ark Royal and being on a ship. It was,
so you were living on the ship?
No,
is that right?
It was empty.
It was empty.
Yeah. So they've got blocks of flats in the dockyard, and all the crew live in the flats.
On the camp?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry for my not understanding the Navy setup.
Yeah, that's okay. So, so the old dockyard is all around the place, and then they've got these two sort of 1970s blocks of flats, and it was 4 to a room. So.
I was going to ask that. Is it how many to a room?
Yeah.
So 4 of you Was it a 4-man room or was it
Yeah.
4 to like a 6-man room? So you
No.
had a bit of space.
No, it was a 4-man room.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So, but there was only me and Squiggly in our room, so it was.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you had space.
Yes. Yeah. So it's. Yeah, that was good. Yeah, Squiggly was a good bloke. His name was Stuart Line.
Okay.
So Squiggly Line.
Nice.
He was a crazy Millwall fan. So.
We won't get on that road
No.
just yet. So you technically leave basic, right? You go and join. Do you call that like a main unit or a main
draft? So
draft?
yeah, get drafted to a ship.
You get drafted to a ship. Okay, see, I didn't know that.
That's-
There we go. Taught me something already. So you get drafted to a new ship. But then you go off and do the
Inter-services.
services.
Yeah.
How did that go? Because now you're a full-blown hockey player.
Yeah, it was amazing. It was at RAF Halton, and there was a few thousand people watching.
Wow.
It was good, and it was amazing. It was to be playing proper hockey and being part of a team, representing the Navy, and yeah, it was great, really good. I remember marking an army lad out of the game. I sort of sacrificed my game to stop him because he was good, and he got a lot of skill. And all I did was I stood a metre away from him, looked him straight in the eye and said, "You're not having the ball today." Yeah. And every time he came into my bubble, into my metre, I'd push him away with my stick. I wasn't watching the ball. I wasn't doing anything. I was marking him.
Wow.
And my parents were in the grandstand, and the women's team were behind them. And my dad told me afterwards that they were saying, "Look at AJ, look what he's doing." And he's not playing the game. He's just marking that lad out of it. And in the end, they had to take him off because he got so frustrated. And every time he tried to do something, I just pushed him away and said, "You're having the ball." And I was in between him and everybody else. And everywhere he went, I just followed him. And yeah.
Was that tactics from the beginning?
Yes.
Or, yeah. It's not something you chose to do. It was tactical by the team.
Yeah.
Clever.
Yeah.
Nice.
And then another game, I got sent off for swearing at the team because they weren't working hard enough.
Oh, no.
So the umpire said, "I'm not having language like that on my pitch," and gave me it's a sin bin in hockey, so it's 5 minutes, sit down.
Okay.
Yeah. But they weren't working hard enough, so I told them.
And I'm just going to clarify, you're still in your first year.
Yes.
This is insane. Like, you're doing such a high level of hockey and you're mouthing off.
Yes. I was mouthing off at an officer whose father was the commander of the destroyer fleet. Because there's no rank on a sports pitch.
Wow. So what was the kind of outcome? Where did you guys come?
We didn't win it because the army were brilliant. The army won it. I think I can't remember. I think we came second.
Yeah.
But the army were head and shoulders above us.
Yeah.
So
They have a good team.
yes, yeah. So going back to HMS Sultan, the gym, the Army Catering Corps had challenged us to a hockey match, and the PTIs just gave the team to me, so I held trials and everything.
Yeah.
So I got all of the new recruits sort of coming into phase 2, and so we got a team and everything, and we went to where was it? I can't remember where the Army Catering Corps is. It was their phase 2 training basically.
Yeah, I can't think.
No, I'm thinking Colchester, but I don't know. But we went, and their warrant officer PTI was an England international and Army top man.
Oh, wow.
He was their coach, and we beat them 5-0. I scored a hat-trick, and he was so angry. Unbelievable. But this guy, Jennings, I can't remember. But he was on all the army videos on how to prepare to do basic training. He's got arms like tree trunks. And I've seen him do an aerial. It's when you flick the ball in the air down the pitch. The army were playing the RAF, and he threw the ball from his back line 3/4 of the way down the pitch. And it was just like flying through the air. Everyone was silent. It was just unbelievable. Amazing hockey player. And to beat a team he'd coached was, yes.
Brilliant.
Shook my hand at the end of that.
Nice. Getting respect.
Yeah.
So that's crazy, man. I mean, this is your first year.
Yeah.
So this is 96. Have I got that year right?
Yes, 96.
So you joined basic in the January. You've gone right through. You're in phase 2. You joined such a high level of hockey. That's a crazy year straight off.
Yeah.
So that's insane, in a good way. So good. So then what happens kind of after those? You go back to the ship?
Yes,
or?
yeah. So doing the working on the ship, learning engineering things and really enjoying it. Going off to play, we played the county championships as the Navy. So played against, I can't remember. We played Berkshire, Gloucestershire, another one I can't remember. It was that was good. Really enjoyed that. A few training camps on Whale Island, which is an island just part of Portsmouth. That was really good. It was hard. It was, but we were fit and loved to run, and we got a few Marines and a few Navy lads. And it was good. That's where I met Foxy from the SAS Who Dares Wins thing. His dad was our coach. Foxy's dad was a Royal Marine, and his brother as well, Jamie. So they were. I seen Foxy hit a hockey ball and split it in half, and one half went in one top corner, and one half went in the other top corner. So it was,
that's crazy.
Yeah, nice bloke, really good.
Whale Island, you mentioned.
Whale Island, yeah.
I did. Was trained to be an army diver.
Oh right, yeah.
And in the first course is a week long aptitude, and they really take you to the. Well, they beast you, let's say. And then also I did the first few weeks of basic, but I got injured. My Achilles got damaged. But I've been at Whale Island, where they train you hard in the mud. Yes. And you do your pulls and bells and all that kind of stuff. So I wouldn't say I have fond memories of that place, but I know of it. And then done some civvy diving, not in Whale Island, but in that area. So I know it a little bit. Cool. But so beyond that, what was the rest of time look like? So following a few years from there?
So basically, time was all set up around hockey. It was
okay.
The ship was great. They were very accommodating. You had to do one duty a week, so I did Tuesday nights. I'd volunteer to do the middle. So the middle watch is between 12 and 4 a.m.
Okay.
So that's where the middle of the night comes from.
Yeah.
So
okay.
It's, and if you do the middle, you get the morning off.
Okay, to recover.
Yes. But the way I worked it and the way the ship let me work it was I'd still turn 2 on Wednesday morning and work from 8 till 12 on Wednesday morning, because Wednesday afternoon was hockey anyway. And so that I was owed a morning off.
Right.
I was playing hockey for Tamworth. So basically, I was working Monday to Thursday evening. So I'd leave Thursday 5 o'clock to go back to Tamworth and play hockey for the weekend. So I was doing 4-day weeks
Wow.
with a hockey match on a Wednesday afternoon as well. So
Nice.
yeah, life was good.
Nice. Life sounds good.
Yeah.
And what rank are you? Because I don't know the ranks too well.
I was a marine engineer first class. So MEM 1. I should have been a lot higher than that, but I wasn't doing enough engineering to get promotion. So it was, I was stuck in a catch-22 where in the Navy you have to be a killick, a leading hand to go to do a PTI course. Ideally, I'd have been a PTI and carried on with the hockey.
Uh-huh.
But because I couldn't go to sea to do the courses to get the leading hand course, I couldn't become a PTI.
Right.
So I just was quite happy playing hockey, living my life and having a wonderful time. So
And was that restriction because of the asthma, or was that because of other things?
no, that was because they wanted me to play.
Oh, they were like holding you back to play.
Yes.
So you couldn't go off and do courses.
Yes.
Ah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then this is where the problem started with my injury. My ankles were playing up, and I'd train every night. I'd be on the AstroTurf pitch with a plastic bin, like a full-size bin of hockey balls. I don't know how many hundred of balls were in there, but I'd be on my own just hitting balls, practicing every night. And I wasn't recovering. I wasn't giving my body time to recover. And my ankles were niggling me, but I wasn't stopping. I don't know what it's like in the army, but if you have a niggle, you take Brufen.
Yeah.
Yeah, pink Smarties.
That's it.
Yeah, well, I was living on pink Smarties. I don't know how many a day. You only meant to take 8, but I was definitely having more than that. And just pushing through. That Royal Marine mentality of it's only pain. Pain's an emotion. Switch it off.
What's that saying? Pain is weakness leaving the body.
Yeah, that's it. And I took that for my sport. I was, as far as I was concerned, I was a professional hockey player and with a Navy job.
Yeah.
And so I was pushing and ended up having stronger and stronger painkillers and not recovering and going. And in the end, they were injecting me, and it was just to get on the hockey pitch.
Wow. So you're going to the medical centre?
Yeah.
And they're just giving you drugs just to help with pain?
Yeah.
And then because they wanted you on the team so much, they started injecting to give you pain relief so you could play the games?
Yeah.
They really wanted you, didn't they?
Yeah. And when you're young and naive and you're living your best life.
And roughly what age are you around this time?
So I was 21.
Yeah?
Yeah.
And this is 96 you joined, so this is 97 or something?
No, so yeah, 97.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and it basically my ankles fell apart. It was, I couldn't stand up properly. I was, I'd step off a curb and my ankles would go, and twisting my ankles was a daily occurrence. And it's,
Right.
And they were swollen and black, and it was they'd just gone. The bilateral ligaments that hold your ankles up, the ones that you twist when you roll your ankle.
Yeah.
They were so long and floppy that they couldn't hold my my ankles up anymore.
Oh no.
The Navy got me into Haslar, which is the hospital in Portsmouth, and took some bone out because my body started to calcify my ankles. It tried to fuse my ankles to stop them rolling. So I'd got bone spurs growing. So that was the first operation that they did, which didn't make any difference. And I'd got like stirrups around my ankles with Velcro on that were basically holding my feet up. So they decided that I needed to recover and not play any hockey. So they sent me back home, and I was working in the careers office in Birmingham.
Okay.
So having more operations and things like that. And this is where the Whittington Barracks at Lichfield's funny story comes in. I was having physio at Whittington Barracks because it was close to home.
Got it. Okay.
So came in through the... I couldn't drive because my ankles had gone, so couldn't use my feet. So I caught the bus, dropped off outside, walked through the main gates, up the hill, and there's the drill square at the top of the hill.
Yeah.
And then they've got a car park on the left-hand side of it.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't want to walk around all the cars, so I stepped onto the edge of the drill square and just walked straight across the edge. I was only on a foot of it, but next to the cars. And there was a squad of new recruits, the far end. And all of a sudden, there's this almighty row going on. And I'm thinking, what's happening? And there's this bloke charging towards me, screaming at me about daring to step on his drill square and walking, having the audacity to walk. And he says, "Who are you?" And I went, "Royal Navy." And he says fucking everything. About turned and marched off.
I'm guessing you're in civvies, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. What did it feel like being on an army camp?
It was all right.
Yeah.
I was bimbling around.
Did you feel like you were better than us?
It's senior service. It comes with the territory.
I wondered how long it'd take you to say that.
Yeah. Yeah. So
Okay.
that was quite funny. And he marched off and he got all of his class to look at me and he says, "That's what the Royal Navy looks like for these shambles."
So what year is this? Is this like 98 now? Or
So this 99 this would
99,
be.
okay.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so close because I was the year after,
Oh,
2000. So how long are you... So physiotherapy is being done there.
Yes.
How long was that and was it having a benefit? Perfect.
It was the first time for a long time that I hadn't had any pain, but it was only for 15 minutes because the captain was using acupuncture on me.
Uh-huh.
So that was really good. I enjoyed that. It was and it was nice to have a relief, but then it'd go away again. And so I was having to sort of reassess my life at this point. I'm not playing hockey, but I'm still in the military, and and I'm getting people to join and doing the entrance exams and everything.
Okay. Well, let's talk about that quickly.
Okay.
So how long was you there for? Was that a year or so?
Yes, yeah. So it was just over a year.
Yeah. And what's that like? Because my memory of a kind of like careers office is signing up, doing the barb test.
Yeah.
Do you guys do barb test?
No, it was an exam. So you probably did it on the computer, didn't you?
Yes.
So that came in while I was. So we got to play on the computers that the army had got.
It's an old school type computer, isn't it?
Yes, yeah.
Nothing smart like today.
No, it was. Yeah, it was massive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I must have done mine either the very end of. I can't remember. Either the very end of 99 or in the January of 2000. because I signed on the dotted line in the February of 2000.
Right.
So I must have done that a few weeks prior. So roughly very, very beginning of 2000.
Yeah.
So you were starting bringing those into the careers office.
Yes,
Yeah.
it was really nice. It was good. I enjoyed it. Then one day, Sergeant Paul turned up, and he was part of the sports recruitment team. And
That's the thing.
yes,
Oh.
yeah. So they were going to schools and doing PE classes and stuff like that. And he knew I was Sport Billy and everything, so he got me in on that. It was so that was good, going out to the schools and
Oh, nice.
yeah.
So yeah, talk about that, because again, not trying to share too much.
Yeah.
This is your episode. But I remember a group of army people coming to my school, and maybe that kind of like enticed me a bit further to join. So what is it like from your perspective going to a school full of children who you're hoping to entice to join the military?
It's good. I got a buzz out of it because you see the kids that think they can't do it, and by helping them and pushing them, you get them to achieve something. And it might be the first thing they've achieved in their life, but they've finished a training session. I'd be doing press-ups next to them and saying, come on, keep going. I'll be talking in their ear all the time. And this is where I think my love of coaching and fitness coaching has come from. It's sort of for those first beginnings with the sports team. It was it was good. I remember it was linked to the ethnic minorities recruitment team, because there wasn't enough black or Asian people joining the military, and so we were going inner city Birmingham, going to schools that are 90% plus minorities, and working with them. And remember this Asian lad, he was overweight and he didn't want to do it, didn't like sport, but I got him, and I couldn't run properly, but I could run faster than he could, and I got him by the collar, and we were doing this run, and I was in pain, but there was no way I was going to stop, and he finished this run, and he was over the moon. He was.
Nice.
He'd never done it before, but in fact, I'd got him, and he wasn't going to drop to the floor, and so it was just little things like that, and nice. It's good.
That's nice. Nice. Yeah, that's cool, man. That's good to hear.
Going back to the barb test, though.
Yeah, go for it.
We were playing with it, and he'd come in. I was like, right, come on then, let me have a go. So I did the barb test, and I scored enough points to do any job in the army. And they were like, if you weren't broken, we'd sign you up.
Showing off now, yeah.
I said I quite fancy army intelligence. I didn't know about army intelligence when I signed for the Navy.
Okay.
It might have swayed me.
That might have
Yeah.
done it. Wow. We don't know everything, do we?
No, that's
So-
it. It's choices in life.
That's it. So then you just mentioned before we went into that about you having to rethink things.
Yes, yeah.
So do you want to?
Yeah. So it was at this point I decided that I'd take the schoolie's advice, not do a physics degree, but do a sports science degree. So I had a word with my boss and said I'd like to do a degree. There was a course called the Access course, which means you do 4 A-levels in a year. And it's for people older than 21 and gets you into university. So it's like a high intensity A-level course.
I was going to say it sounds intense.
Yeah, it was good. So I did, what did I do? Environmental science, biology, psychology, and education studies.
The easy ones, right?
Yeah.
Jeez, man.
So, and it was good. The careers office was letting me go and do the courses and everything. And I got 4 Bs, which was great.
Well done.
And then got into Birmingham University to study sports, physical education, and community studies. So,
Nice.
yeah. So I was going to be a PE teacher.
Okay.
That was my plan.
So that was your new plan?
Yes.
What, a PE teacher out of the military? Or...
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
So
okay.
I was going to, basically they were medically discharging me. Sorry, I jumped a bit there. They were going to medically discharge me, which happened on the 2nd of February 2000.
Right. Okay. And was that the date the medical board sat, or was that the date you finished?
That's the date I finished. Yeah.
Okay.
So I had I was doing the college course, which finished in the July, and then October 2000 I was at university.
Okay.
So it was kind of quick turnaround. And
Yeah. Wow, that's a whirlwind. Do my maths, 4 years.
Yes.
That's. Yeah, I don't know what to say about that. It's-
Yeah, a lot happened.
A lot happened in 4 years.
Yeah.
Crazy. Wow. So that's that's the end of your military career.
Yes.
And then you've got this transition back to civilian life.
Mm-hmm.
So how did that pan out? Did you find that transition fairly easy because of maybe the roles you did prior? Like, I don't know, how did it feel for you?
No, it was very hard.
It was hard, yeah?
Yes. I didn't realise I got an alcohol problem.
Okay.
It turned out that when I got injured, or no, before I got injured, most of the military drink. It's how we cope with things, but when you're doing so much sport, you don't notice. You go out and have a drink. You go for a run in the morning, and most of it's gone.
Yeah.
But I got injured, couldn't do the runs in the morning, so I was getting fat and drinking more, and it was my medicine of choice.
Pain relief.
Yes, yeah. I was still on the drugs that they were been giving me, but I was drinking more and more. So when I got to university, Freshers Week was like the best party ever. Everybody's drinking, and I could drink more than anybody, and so I was like the old man party because they were all 18 and I was so much older than them, and I was looking after people, and there was always a party to go to, and it was, yeah, I didn't see a problem at that point.
Okay.
But yeah, my drinking was getting out of control.
Because you must be in mid-20s by then?
Yes, yeah. And so...
Did they know that you used to be in the Navy?
Yes, yeah.
So you must have been like...
They called me Uncle Albert.
Did they?
Yeah. Because it's like, I'd say, in the Navy...
In the Navy. Yeah. Fantastic.
Yeah.
And as you say, everybody... I've never been to uni myself, but I guess what you hear is true.
First year university, as long as you pass with 40%, nothing counts. It's just about learning to live on your own.
Wow.
Yeah.
And are you living at the university? Or?
Yes, in the campus. So it's, a lot of fun, a lot of shenanigans going on, and because I'd got a military sense of humour, a lot of the stuff I'd get like people to do or join in with was crazy. We introduced the trousers and pants around the ankle races, which was hilarious. It was about sort of eight of lads, and I said, right, okay, we're gonna have a race. Bearing in mind that my legs don't work properly, trousers and pants around the ankles, from the bar back to the dorms. And they're like, right, yeah, you're on. So we do it. So the first time we did it, a few people were there and had a laugh and whatever. The next time it was like, right, yeah, we're having a rematch. There was hundreds of people. Yeah, it was Yeah, crazy times. It was
Which university was this? You might have already said this. But
Birmingham.
it was Birmingham University.
Yes,
Sorry,
yeah.
if I missed that. Did you say that before?
I did, yeah.
You did.
It's
Okay.
okay.
I must have been thinking about something else. But
Yeah. So
so you had good times there.
yeah, doing a sports course, everyone leaves everything to the last minute, like the academic side of things. So the day assignments get handed in, we're all in the library.
And how long is that course or university life?
3 years.
That was 3 years.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So in the summer term of the first year, I had both my ankles reconstructed
Oh, really?
in Birmingham. So Selly Oak, where a lot of the lads from Afghan and Iraq went. The surgeon cut a tendon next to my Achilles in both feet, drilled a hole for my ankle bone, and rerouted tendons and attached it down by my toes to bypass the bilateral ligaments, which gives me more stability, but not enough. But it was a lot better. I could run again. I could play hockey again, but it was again silly. Hockey's like a drug to me, and
Yeah.
I broke myself again.
So this is whilst you're at uni?
Yes.
Wow. Mate, that's crazy. Like someone doing a university course and going through surgery. And so what was like the support from university with you having to go and have surgery and recover?
They were good, to be honest. My peers who I was on the course with, they were looking after me more than the university were. It was, it was good. It was.
And was you staying in single man rooms?
Yes, yeah,
Yeah?
yeah, single rooms.
Single rooms.
Yeah,
And they were still looking after you?
yeah,
And you would tell them to do more drunk
yeah.
kind
So,
of like
yeah.
games?
And having fun. And it was, but I was like, I could drink the same as them, but still be like responsible.
Yeah.
So I could put them to bed and stuff like that, and like make sure that they got back safe and didn't get arrested or in fights or anything. So.
So going back to your ankle, would this be your second surgery? Because you mentioned you had one whilst you were in
Yes,
that
yeah.
tried
Yeah,
but failed. So is this like your second?
yeah. So two in one go. Yeah,
Yeah.
in plaster up to my knees.
Oh, you had plaster.
Yeah.
Wow. On both legs at
Yes.
the same time?
Yeah,
At the same time?
same time.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
Yeah.
So how did you get around? Was it crutches?
Crutches,
It
yeah.
was crutches?
Yeah, get quite good for the tricep workout. It was, yeah. They put like a rubber block on the bottom, and so I could sort of partially weight bear, but most of it was on my arms.
Wow.
So it was,
I mean, I've done, obviously, you know, my background with my hips, but I only had one technically injured side at a time whilst on crutches.
yeah.
So how the hell did you cope with both being plastered?
You
on
get quite good.
crutches?
You get really good at dancing with your arms, with your feet off the floor.
Oh my God.
I got strong. I got really strong.
Yeah.
Upper body was like, yeah, it was like doing weights constantly.
Because you're pretty much fit throughout that whole time, right?
Yeah.
And yes, you can't run anymore, but you must have still carried a lot of that
Yes.
fitness
Yes,
through.
that was it. Yeah, because all I could do was weights, really, upper body weights.
Yeah. So then they take the plaster off. Was
Yes.
that like 6 weeks later or something, or
8 weeks.
8 weeks later?
Yeah, that was a very strange thing. The block that we were staying in was like a Victorian type thing. They got big stainless steel baths, and I got into the bath, filled it full of water, and my legs were like sponges, and the skin soaked up all the water, and you could poke your finger into the skin. It disappeared about a centimetre. So I rubbed all this dead skin off, and it was all floating on the top. Got out, pulled the plug, refilled it, and did it again. It's like minging. Yeah.
So recovery from that, did it give you a bit of stability?
Yes, yeah, it
Yeah?
was good. It was, Yeah.
Like you said, sorry, you then said you went back to hockey.
Yeah.
Now, was that with university?
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
The university is the National Hockey Academy
Oh, right.
for Britain. So
wow.
the levels are like they're international at first team level. So it's I got into the third team, so I was chuffed to do that. So,
Nice. And they spotted your talent like the military did, or
yeah. It was
what did you tell them?
Well, no, I actually in Freshers Week I went down to see what the level was like, and I was helping to warm the goalkeepers up and hit a few balls. I was hit two of the best shots in my entire life, one in one top corner, one in the other top corner, and the coach came over to say, "Are you doing trials?" I was like, "No, I'm injured. I'm just here to help." And he was like, "Damn." So
Cool. So then what happens? What's the kind of like next thing you want to share with us from
so
that phase?
this is where things start to turn sour. Third year university, doing teacher training. Everything has been great up to this point, and I go to a school to do the teacher training, and I get told by the head of PE that there's no way that they would employ someone with a disability to be a PE teacher because I couldn't do cross-country running with the kids. I don't know
Right.
about you, but none of my PE teachers did cross-country running with
No,
us.
they told us where to run, and then you just did it.
Yeah, and they'd be in the car.
Yeah.
So,
And sorry, this is after your surgery.
so this is the third year. So it was the end of the first year that I had my surgery.
Right.
So I've gone through. I'm ready to finish. It's sort of the start of the third year, and I don't know. At this point, it's like someone pulled the rug from under me. I'm like, oh, is this not going to happen? And it was the start of the demons in my head coming out and the self-doubt that I had before with the Marines. That sort of came back, and am I good enough? Can I do this? And so it was quite difficult. It was my mental health and the loss of the military in my life all came flooding back. It was like, I don't want to put this in the category of PTSD and flashbacks and something like that, but it was as if I'd been in a dream up until that point, and then someone's just told me that I'm not good enough, and everything that I'd done and missed about the military, and not being important but being wanted for the hockey and everything, I was now told I was disabled, so I was no good. I was broken, so there's no point trying to be a PE teacher because you can't. And so in hindsight, I think I had a bit of a mini breakdown at that point, and I was still in university, but I moved back home, and sort of didn't really partake in the university life. Wasn't trying my hardest, and because it was like, what's the point? If I'm not going to be a PE teacher, then I am wasting my time. So finished the course, passed the course, and everyone went to graduation, and I didn't bother. And
Okay.
yeah, I just went through the motions.
And how are your ankles at this stage?
They're broken again.
They're broken again.
Yeah, so it's...
Was it anything in particular that did that, or was it, again, just...
Trying to be a hockey player, trying to push myself. Just doing too much.
Okay.
So, I don't know what to do at this point. So, I got a job at a inner city Birmingham college. Was for kids that have been kicked out of school. So, from awful backgrounds or whatever, and all sorts of situations they come from. So I was teaching secondary school, basically, And it was good. I enjoyed it. It was the money was rubbish, but they were nice kids. You just have to get past the fronts they put up, the masks they were wearing because of their home lives. So I did that for a while.
What was you teaching?
All subjects. So
all subjects?
Yes,
Wow,
yeah.
cool.
So science, maths, English, and basically the core subjects. And yeah. So I remember one day I was teaching about the weather and how forecasters do things and how they assess the weather. And so it gave me the idea, and we did a news channel and we recorded it. So there were some of them did news reports, and then someone was the weather reporter, and it was good. It was just sort of making things fun and how I'd like to have learned at school.
Yeah. So when you got through those masks, they opened up to you, and
yeah, kids are kids.
Yeah.
They just, some have had more dramas in their life than others. So it's a trust thing.
yeah.
They haven't got many people to trust, and
And once you gain that, then
yeah,
you really connect with them,
Yeah.
and they listen
Yeah.
and learn.
yeah,
Yeah.
which was good, and I enjoyed that.
Nice.
So, then I seen a job advertised at Tamworth College, where I'd gone after I'd left school, for public services. So it's training people to join uniform public services. And I thought, this is amazing.
What for the change? Why?
It was
looking?
just the job.
Just the job. Yeah.
It was like, it read like the best job in the world. So went, had the interview, passed the interview, got the job,
Nice.
and joined this team of amazing people. So there was basically an ex-army officer for a lawyer. There was a fireman. There was some PTIs, and it was a military historian running the show. And we trained these kids, most of them coming from sort of not great academic backgrounds, and taking them to their full potential. And we had some amazing kids, and we had an amazing time teaching them, and it was incredible. It's such a happy time in my life.
Nice. Yeah.
I found a place again. And
belonging somewhere.
Yes. Yeah.
Getting results.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the camaraderie, and it was like being in the military, and the humour, and the kids responded to us. They weren't always great, but kids never are. But we were training them. I'd do. I'd teach fitness, but I'd also teach politics and economics and different skills, and be a tutor as well. But I train everybody to Royal Marine levels.
Okay.
Boys, girls, if they wanted to be a paramedic, if they wanted to be a Royal Marine, it didn't matter. Everybody trained the way I trained. So when they went to do their basic training, it was easy. And I told them from the start, this is what we do and this is why we do it. And they bought it, and they loved it.
Nice.
Yeah. And if they were sick, we go, "Yay, you've been sick," and carry on. And it was just taking them and pushing them through the molds into being the best person they could be. And it was great. And life was amazing. And then the management of the college decided they didn't like us because we were mavericks. We weren't following their guidelines, and they didn't like sort of how we were strong. We we were a department, and we played by our own rules.
Good little team.
Yes,
Yeah.
and they didn't like that, and I don't know why they didn't like it, whether they felt threatened by us but basically they broke us apart. They made one guy leave. They sacked my boss, the historian, and told lies about me. And then, so I said, right, I'm leaving. So I put my notice in, and I said to Joy, my wife, do you want to move? She's like, yeah, okay. Where do you want to go? I said, I don't know. So when you work in further education, there's a website, and you can put in what job you're looking for, and it comes up in the whole country where they are. So I applied for all of them. So
Did you?
Yeah. So there was Taunton. There was a private college on the North Yorkshire Moors. There was Morecambe Bay, Wrexham, and a few others. And Wrexham was the first interview I went to, and went in, did the interview, misunderstood what they wanted. The brief for the interview was, how would you teach? I can't remember the subject. It was one of the subjects for public services, and they wanted, how would you teach a lesson? But they didn't say, how would you teach a lesson? It's how would you teach? So I did a full year's lesson breakdown of every week and what you do and how long it'd take and what resources you'd need. So I did a plan for how I would teach a year's worth of that subject.
Right.
And they were like, more than we was expecting, but thank you very much. And so I did the interview, and they said, right, okay, we'll be in touch. And then as I was leaving, the Chancellor came running after me and said, we'd like to offer you the job. And
Nice.
I was like, brilliant. And they more than doubled my money as well. I was like, flipping heck. So, I was very chuffed with that. So we moved to Wales.
Wow.
So that was a big thing.
So before you moved, how long was you doing that previous area? That Maverick team that you were part of, how long was you teaching that?
So that was 2014 to 2017.
Oh, right. So quite late on.
Yes.
So I feel like we've missed a big chunk.
So
Because from me following you through this timeline,
yeah.
you're in the military till 2000.
Yes.
Then you're at university.
Yeah.
That's 3 years. So
Yeah.
that's 2003, 4-ish.
Oh no. So I've got my dates wrong. So yeah, 2003. So
Then you were helping the children.
yes. So I did that for 1 year.
That was 1 year.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's 2004. Yeah. So 2004 to 2005.
Yeah.
And then, so that's, I went straight from there to the college. So that was 2005 to 2005 to 2007. That's when we moved to Wales. So
Okay,
got
okay.
my dates wrong. So
Okay.
I apologise for that.
No worries. I just thought we time travelled then.
No,
I was like,
no.
oh, right. Okay.
No, so 2007, not 17.
Yeah.
We moved
2007.
we moved to Wales.
Which part? Because Wales is
Yeah,
small, but
yeah.
still pretty big.
North Wales.
That was North Wales.
Yes, yeah.
And for anybody that knows this area,
Into Llangollen.
okay, I'm not even going to try and pronounce that.
So it's a beautiful little town in North Wales on the River Dee. It's the first waterfall you come to in Wales from England. It's,
So you follow the road till you hit the waterfall.
yeah, that's it. Can't miss it.
Fantastic. And so then you're working
At the college.
at the college, and what are you teaching anything particular, or is it again an array?
An array of things,
Yeah.
mainly fitness training, but again, politics and economics and
Okay.
citizenship and things like that. So it's just giving that preparation for people going to join the military or any of the uniformed public services.
Nice. And how are the ankles at this moment?
They're shot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you able to walk or?
Yes, I wear plastic calipers around
Okay.
my ankles with the Velcro on, so
Okay. So
held together with Velcro.
bit of stability.
Yeah.
Pain levels? Are they
High, yes.
high?
Yeah. Alcohol levels going through the roof.
Okay. So that's your kind of like pain
Yes.
relief.
Yeah.
I'm guessing. I mean, I don't know, but I'm guessing not whilst you're at work teaching.
No, not during the
So
day,
just
but
at night.
night time.
Yeah.
And it'd be a lot. It'd be a crater lager.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's so I'm getting fatter and more depressed.
But
More-
you're enjoying teaching.
Yes, yeah, it was going well. I didn't like my boss because she wasn't. She was a child development teacher and didn't understand the military, and was interfering again, like Tamworth College. People that didn't understand the military were frightened of what we were creating. I don't know why. It seems to, in every place that I've taught public services, without getting political, left wing people end up being in charge and don't like how you teach and don't understand the reasons behind doing press ups if someone's cheeky to you, or sending somebody for a run if they've done something that they shouldn't have.
So you were doing those kind of things. You were teaching with not punishment, but
Yeah,
with
it's just
bit
a
of-
sort of consequence.
yeah.
Life in the military has consequence.
Okay.
Because we're taught that, because if you go into a war zone and don't follow orders, the consequences are people lose their lives.
Yeah.
And if you're training people to join the military, they need to know that that's what they're signing up for.
Yeah. But they had the right mindset. They were like, "Yeah, I messed up. I'll do it."
Yes.
Yeah.
And because you don't just say, right, you're going for a run. You say you're going for a run because of this.
Okay. So you're explaining why.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's so consequence is a good thing used in the right way. You're not just punishing people for the sake of it.
Yeah.
But it's a lot of old hippies and have come into education and don't like what we were doing.
Uh-huh. Okay.
So it's I think you're either military or you're not.
Yeah. Just going to pause one moment because I've got someone, I think your wife's at the window, asking questions. Yes, we will have dinner, but after we finish recording, thank you. All right, cool. So let's get back. So how long was you doing that teaching for?
So at Wrexham, I was teaching, and then in the spring or sort of late winter of 2009, so sort of the new year of 2009, my mental health was dropping rapidly.
Okay.
And this is when I had a full-blown breakdown, and I didn't want to leave the house. I didn't want to leave the bed.
Okay.
I was the demons had just took over, and I was suicidal and too scared to do it, and feeling a drain on society. I couldn't cope, and what triggered it was my boss her son was on the course, and I caught him cheating, and reported it, and she just covered it up and threatened to sack me for something for reporting her son, and it was just too much. I couldn't cope with people not abiding by the rules and not following the rules, and it just got crazy. It was, my brain couldn't cope with civilians.
Okay.
I didn't trust civilians. It was as if they'd got an agenda against people in the military. They didn't like us. I was thinking, it's all well and good us putting our lives on the line to protect them, but when we leave, then we're not wanted, and that's what it felt like. It was, So the only reason that I didn't commit suicide was Joy and the kids. The feeling of shame and sort of how they'd feel if I did shock myself in the river, which was the constant thing going through my head. So I took the cowardly way out and tried to drink myself to death, which just made me fatter. So it was, Joy was amazing at that time. She would give me jobs to do. I was house husband, I say.
Yeah. So you'd left the college.
Yes.
by
Well,
that
no,
time?
I was still employed. But
Right.
I was on sick leave. And
Oh, okay.
yeah.
So you're enjoying the house husband.
Yeah. In the middle of all this, we decided that we were getting married.
Okay. Yeah.
So on my birthday, the 31st of July, 2009, we got married, which
Nice.
was the best day of my life.
I bet.
Yes. Yeah. Marrying the love of my life was amazing. And it was great, really good. And to go in form with the rest of my crazy life, the BBC filmed our wedding
Really?
because we had a cheese wedding cake. So it was part of the Cheshire Food Trail. This guy who made our cake was being filmed, and they came to our wedding to...
Nice.
Yeah, so it was... yeah.
That's crazy.
Yes.
In a good way, right?
Yes, very much so. Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah. So that was sort of a positive outcome after my breakdown. It was something to live for and something to recover for.
Yeah.
So I resigned from my job and stayed at home. Got sent for counselling by the doctor. Went to one counsellor session, had my initial assessment, and then they said they'd be in touch with an appointment. And then the council closed the counselling centre.
Oh, no.
So I didn't have any counselling. So, and then it was weird because it was just, I felt guilty about going outside. I didn't want people to see me. Because in my mind, they'd sort of think, oh, what's he on about? There's nothing wrong with him. And all these things go through your mind when you've had a breakdown and when your mental health is so low, and it makes things up. I've now done quite a lot of research on neurology and things, and there's the chimp paradox. I've got a monkey inside my head and he just wants to mess me up. So
what kind of, what brought you back? What was I know obviously getting married is a huge, happy time, but you're then trying to go for counselling and that closes. And...
Yeah. The doctor said to me, what do you like to do? And I've always liked fishing. And he said, we'll go fishing. And it was like someone had given me permission to do something.
Right, yeah.
And so I just go and sit there and be on my own. Didn't matter if I caught anything. But that started me going outside. And sort of bringing me back, sort of.
So like healing your mental health
Yes.
by doing that.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Finding something to do and having a purpose. And so that was sort of part of my recovery. Then one of our neighbours and friends of ours, she worked for a mental health company with hospitals, and asked me if I wanted to come for a job. And so started working with people who'd been detained under the Mental Health Act with learning difficulties.
Okay.
So they were locked up because they were a danger to themselves and the public, but they'd also got learning difficulties. And so I was helping to run the day centre, and I was an occupational therapy assistant.
Nice.
So
teaching.
Yeah.
Anything in particular again? Or?
Anything really. It was just, So
you're good at teaching everything, aren't you? By the sounds of it.
Pretty good. I can learn things and relay them to people so they understand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Brilliant. So what year roughly is that? Is that like beginning of 2010s?
So yes, I think it was 2010. Yeah. So was doing that. Enjoyed it, but again, the politicalism of civilians, the way they're already out for themselves. There's no camaraderie, and if they can stab you in the back, they will. And so that eventually got too much. Sort of, I didn't enjoy it. And then a job came up in Llangollen at the high school, and as a teaching assistant. So I went for that, and again, loved it. It was teaching or working with dyslexic kids and letting them understand what the teachers were saying, because a lot of teachers don't understand dyslexia and special needs. They've got a way of teaching that they understand, and when a kid says I don't understand, they say it again the same way.
In the same way. Mm-hmm.
So I'd say he means this, this, and this, and the kids go, well, why does it say that then? And so I found a niche in there, and then I specialised in science. So again, my understanding of physics and things, and being able to translate physics and all of the sciences into understandable language for the kids was great. So it was that was really enjoyable. I was enjoyed that a lot. So so life's pretty good. I'm enjoying it. Then a friend of mine said, there's a thing called the Invictus Games coming up. He says, do you want to go and watch? He's ex-army. And I was like, yeah, great. So applied for tickets, and on the application, it got it was a Help for Heroes application. That it said, are you a veteran? Yes. Have you got a disability? Yes. And that, I just ticked it. And then I got a phone call from Help for Heroes saying, did I want to come and try out? I was like, I'm only put down to watch. I don't do any sports. And they said, well, you wanted to watch wheelchair basketball. Why don't you come and try out? I was like, oh, right. So I talked to my dad, asked him if he'd drive me down to Tedworth House, because, again, I couldn't drive. And we went down, got in a wheelchair for the first time, squeezed into a wheelchair because at this point I'm like 20 stone.
All right.
Yeah, still drinking heavily. And felt alive for the first time in many, many years. It was, since university really, I moved fast.
Yeah.
not as fast as some of the skinnier blokes, but for me, I was moving and I was sweating, and it was great. And we were towing each other around, and I was back in the military. The banter, it was amazing. And
Just the first Invictus?
yes, first Invictus 2000. So this was 2013. Did we start the training?
The end of 13?
Yeah, it was the end of 13. And just to be sat in Tedworth House talking to people in the military and just chatting, and then we'd go and train the next day. And Scott, the coach, serving Royal Marine Major, PTI, and great guy, unbelievable respect for the man. And he said, right, he laid it on the line, spade to spade type of man. He says, you're overweight, you're not fit enough. He says, we're having another training session in 3 weeks. I want you to go away, work on this, this and this. So I went away, back to the school, said to them, can I use the sports hall in the mornings? Yeah, no problem. And I had a reason to get out of bed in the morning. I was in the sports hall, 7 o'clock in the morning, pushing up and down, sweating, swearing at myself. Do you want to go to the games? Yes, I fucking do. And it was great. And I'd do that, and then I'd go to the gym after work and I'd be pumping iron. Then I'd go joined Cheshire Phoenix wheelchair basketball team and doing that. And then I'd go to another training camp and go again. And I'm ripping the skin off my hands. But it didn't matter because it was great. And I'll make you friends and banter going on. And then Alpha Hero said there's a chance to go to San Antonio in Texas for an Air Force Trials Warrior Games. So I thought there's no way I'm going to get selected, but put my name down, got picked.
You did?
Yeah. So we went out. We'd been doing more training. We flew out to San Antonio.
When was this?
So this was 2014.
Yeah.
So
beginning of 2014, yeah.
And my first ever game of wheelchair basketball was against the San Antonio Spurs professional wheelchair basketball team. Unbelievable. They battered us, but it was great.
Fantastic.
And then we played the American Marines, and then we played the Air Force and the Army, and brilliant. It was really good. But not only on that camp was did I do wheelchair basketball, they were doing seated discus and shot put.
Okay.
And I got a coach there, and I wandered over because we weren't playing basketball all the time. And she said, do you want to have a go? I was like, yeah, okay then. So she sat me down, taught me through what I needed to do, having a practice, and I was pretty good at it. And she says, well, just keep practicing, and ended up on the finals day going for it, and I got a gold in the discus and silver in the shot put.
No way.
Yeah. And I didn't even know 2 days before that I could do it.
Didn't even know it was a thing?
No. So,
that's amazing.
Yeah, so it was, not only had I played my first game of wheelchair basketball, I was finding new sports as well and winning and getting that feeling back that I used to get with hockey.
Yeah. You got your spark back.
Yeah.
It's not hockey, but
yeah, it's it.
You got it back.
Yeah. So then carried on with the training, me doing it every day, every week, going down to training camps. Got to the final selection because it was gradually whittling down from 50 odd people. There was a squad of 12 going to Invictus.
Oh, okay, sorry. So you've come back from America.
Yeah. So
okay.
And everything was focused on Invictus. I was shooting hundreds and hundreds of hoops,
yeah,
and just going, and everything came together really well for the trials, the final trial. Scored 10 out of 10 on the free throw, so topped
Nice.
everybody. I wasn't as fast as everybody, but I've put in the work, and and then we had to go away and wait. And I don't know if you remember that wait. It was awful.
Yeah. So this, just for everybody to know, this is when me and AJ first met each other, was through Invictus. We were doing different sports, but we did meet through the team at the very first Invictus Games. But yes, that wait was quite something. Obviously, these games had never been put on before.
No.
So we didn't know.
We're just waiting for an email.
Yeah.
And some people had got an email and other people's hadn't. And
So it was a long wait.
Yeah. But then all of a sudden I've got the email and my name's on the list and going to the Invictus
You go
Games.
to the Invictus Games. Phenomenal.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm guessing you're the same as me. It sounds cool. Don't really know what it's gonna be.
No, it's I was just glad to be carrying on with that group of people.
Yeah.
And because it really kicked in then. It was we were training hard. We were training like professional sports people.
Yeah.
And I'd gone back in time again.
Yeah. Where was you guys training for wheelchair basketball?
So mainly at Stoke Mandeville.
Okay. Yeah.
And then we'd go off to play different teams, and we were playing Division 1 teams and beating them. And
amazing.
It was great. It was really good. We're playing some amazing basketball. And right from the start, Scott had said, we are here to win a gold medal. So
we set the target high. Yeah.
Very much so. And it's like my training. You aim high to reach high.
Yeah.
It's,
So how was Invictus Games for you? What did you think of them? What did you think of the games, the layout, Prince Harry?
Yeah. It was like the biggest circus going, and it was the beginning. We were still training. We were in Wellington Barracks, and we were training. So apart from the opening ceremony we did, and that was great. I enjoyed that. And how I didn't cry, I don't know. And then we again back to training, and we all got a bit stressed towards Thursday. Scott seen it and he said, right, I'm calling close to this. I'd injured myself and didn't think I was going to be able to play. It turned out I'd dislocated my first rib and tore some of the muscles as well, intercostal muscles, and so the physios were going to have the physios at Invictus Games were amazing. They put me back together and put me in a suit that pumped ice water around me.
Yeah.
So they actually got me my minutes on the court at the games, which was great. But when I got injured, I thought that was it. I was devastated. And Scott said, everyone hit the showers, meet me in the pub over the road, 4:30. So we all in there. And we just had a blowout. It's crazy. We'd done all this hard work and everything, and we got merrily drunk, all of us. And from Wellington Barracks back to St Paul's, where we were staying at the hotel, was I think it was 3 miles, and we're drunk, and most of us are in wheelchairs or on sticks or like legs missing or whatever, trying to get back 3 miles through London. And we can't do it normally because we're military, so we have a race. So I didn't know where we were until it actually happened, but there was all these roadworks and all the path was up and signs everywhere. And 2 of the guys, the captain and one of the other guys in wheelchairs, are going to try and get through this narrow bit first. and they both hit it at the same time and launched each other out of their wheelchairs into the sand of the roadworks.
No way.
We all fell about laughing. And as we look up, there's 2 armed police officers there, and it was the back of Downing Street.
Oh,
And these 2 officers didn't know what the look of horror on their face, because there's 2 blokes with missing legs rolling round in the sand. Everyone else is laughing at them. They didn't know whether to shoot us or help us. Yeah, absolutely brilliant.
military bounce.
Yeah, that's it. So we finally got back. We had the Friday off, and then Saturday was our big day. The rugby on the Friday had won the gold medal.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So a couple of the guys from our squad were in the rugby team as well. So that really boosted us. And then we went out and we played the Australians first, which is always good fun. And nervous to begin with, but then when we settled down into our routines and we won that. Then we played France, and that was probably my best game. And I did a pass to my mate G that was Adi Obertan, who's the guy did the videos on TV, black guy with dreadlocks, and he does all the tricks in his chair. Cracking basketball player. Well, he came and helped coach us and stuff. Well, he was doing the commentary on the BBC, and his words were, "What a pass! What a pass!" And G came in and it was as close to doing an alley-oop as you can in wheelchair basketball. It was brilliant. It was so we beat France. Oh, dirty game that was. It was.
Yeah.
Then we played Denmark in the final, not in the final, the semi-final. That was a tough game. Fighting against Vikings is never easy.
Yeah.
That was a battle, and we came through it, but it was tough.
Close call.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we got to the Americans in the final, and this is what we'd been preparing for. We'd been telling all the news things, all the media stuff. Who we're gonna meet in the final? It was like, yeah, we're gonna meet the Americans and we're gonna win and all this. So we got there and we went out in the final and smashed them.
Yeah.
Absolutely smashed them. 19-9. And it was just amazing. It's just like everything that we'd worked for came together. We'd have crawled through glass for each other at that point, and it was, yeah. But the hooter went, we'd won, and the first person I hugged was my friend Scott, who's one of the Americans who I'd met out in San Antonio and become amazing friends with.
Yeah.
So it was an amazing moment. Yes, we'd won a gold medal, but it was that achievement of what we'd achieved as brothers, as military.
Yeah. So you got a gold medal.
Yeah.
Buzzing.
So, well, that happened, and we all hugged each other. And then we had to go off the court, so they set up for the medal ceremony. The first person that was outside the big doors was Harry.
Really?
And I wheeled out, and he just grabbed me and hugged me. And all I could think was, how expensive is this bloke's shirt? And I'm sweating all over it.
Awesome.
Yeah. So that was like unbelievable.
But he was proud.
Yes.
He was proud.
And then we got given the gold medals. And
how did it feel having that put around you?
yeah, unbelievable. It was like, all that work and all that pain and the commitment, and we'd done it for each other. Yeah.
Was it emotional?
Very much so.
Yeah.
But then the media went nuts. It's like, I know how these like red carpet people feel. It's like all the flashing lights and everything, and yeah, crazy. And then, and to just sort of achieve that, and I slept that night with the gold medal on the pillow next to me. Yeah.
Oh, so good, so good. Whew, so that's a big. I don't know what to say about that. It's just,
it was.
I can feel the energy from you just ramping up,
Yeah.
winning that gold medal, back to where you were like a decade ago, you know,
Yeah.
winning stuff, wearing that wearing that flag on your chest once more.
Yeah, feeling so proud.
Yeah.
Feeling part of the military again.
Yeah, part of a bigger team, and yeah, awesome. So where'd you go from there, AJ? Where'd you go after 2014?
Well, that was the first sort of thing that started unlocking things then.
Okay.
The day after we'd won the gold, so this is the Sunday, me and G had walked around the Olympic Park, got to watch the swimming, and then we were walking back to watch the sitting volleyball. And we just happened to be walking with Bryn and Emma from Help for Heroes.
Okay.
And they were talking about the basketball and everything. And Bryn said, I'll Help for Heroes help him with all of everything that they can. And I said, no, unfortunately not. And he sort of looked at me and said, why? I said, because I got medically discharged 10 months too early, because I was discharged on the 2nd of February 2000. The cut-off point for Band of Brothers was the 2001.
Oh, right, the start of 2001.
Yeah. So I wasn't entitled to any help or anything like that. And he turned to Emma and said, we've got to do something about this. And fair play to them both. Within a week, I was in the Band of Brothers, and they'd had a meeting and changed the policy.
Nice.
So I'm taking credit for that. So it's, So instead of just being Afghanistan and Iraq,
yeah,
it was everybody.
yeah.
So
Thanks to you, and that unlocked it, and now they go all the way back, don't they? There's no time limit.
No, Falklands guys,
Yeah.
even before that, Korea and whatever.
Yeah, you definitely can get help there. So if
Yeah.
anybody is listening,
Yes, there is help there.
there is help.
I'm now an ambassador for Help for Heroes, and it's, please just pick up the phone or send a message to one of us on social media, because there is help there. It's,
Absolutely.
yeah.
So that unlocked it.
Yes. So that was.
Yeah.
Then I went to Tedworth House, and I got help with my war pension. I got help with Motability because I couldn't drive, so I was entitled to a car that I could drive with my hands. So then, not relying on people to take me places, I got a car, I got my own freedom. I could go to the gym by myself. It was
Get, like you say, freedom.
Yeah.
Getting your freedom back.
Yeah.
Your identity.
Yeah.
Just
That's it.
feeling alive again. So another positive step.
Yeah. So, and then Help for Heroes have put me on courses. I've done a PTI course and done more things through them. So again, I'm getting my optimism back and sort of growing and feeling more confident. So I come back and I feel $1 million and I can do anything. So I decide that I'm going to be a teacher again. So I apply to do a PGCE to be a teacher in physics. And I get knocked back again. So it's, my life tends to be highs and lows. I'm on this roller coaster. Because I haven't got a GCSE in physics, they wouldn't let me do the course. I did a test, smashed the test, but they said they can't let somebody on the course without a GCSE in physics.
Silly, isn't it?
It's crazy. It's like, what, you want me to waste a year to do a physics GCSE just to come on the course when I already know it? And they're like, well, yeah. So this knocks my mental health again. And I wouldn't say it was a breakdown, but I decided to stop teaching, and I didn't want to anymore, because there was too many rules. There's too many politicians, and too many people think that they know better. And as far as I'm concerned, teaching is so antiquated and out of touch with how people should learn. It just needs ripping down and starting again. So perhaps I'll do that one day. So I left my job and decided that I wanted to be a full-time athlete again, and I'm going to go for Paralympics.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. So this is where you come into it.
Okay.
So we end up in Las Vegas.
So yeah, it's not a holiday.
Yeah, and we're not getting married.
No.
So Help for Heroes doing another Air Force's trial, American Air Force trials for Warrior Games, and we get invited to go. So I'm going out. I'm going to do some wheelchair basketball. I'm going to do some more throwing, which I love doing. They said we had to do 4 sports. So I've got wheelchair basketball. I've got throwing. I did sitting volleyball, and I thought, right, need another one. I'll try archery. Looks like fun. So we get out to Las Vegas, Medalist Air Force Base, and it's the training for archery. So I've never done it, never picked a bow up, and I turn up on the field and I thought, right, what do you want to do? And I said, I want to do one of them Rambo things, and it turned out to be a compound bow. And they show me what to do, and I have a practice and start hitting the gold in the middle, and there's a few flying about, and I really enjoy it. So then we have the training for most of the week, and then the trials are at the end of it. So do the basketball. The Americans get revenge on us, so I only get a silver medal in wheelchair basketball.
Only a silver medal.
Got thumped at city volleyball. I was no good at that. Did the throwing and got 2 golds this time, so I was
nice.
I was over the moon with that.
And that's discus
And shot put.
and shot put. Yeah.
And then go to the archery. So I've had 2 days training. We go in, and I score enough points in the GB team to get in the team, the top 3 to be in the team. So there's people been doing archery for a long time who've been trying to tell me do this and do that and whatever, which is great, and everyone's working together. And I ended up being in the top 3, and then winning a bronze medal in the archery after 2 days training, which was unbelievable. And that's when Kevin sat down next to me and said, if you don't take up archery, I'm going to slap you silly. He says it's unheard of, someone doing 2 days and then winning a medal.
It's true.
So, so absolutely brilliant. So this is my new life. I'm doing training for disability sports. I've got so many different options, and I don't know what to go for. A part of my training that I've been doing every day was adapted rowing, so chest and arms and trunk. So basically you strap your legs down and just go for it. And the times I was doing was equivalent to what people winning medals win in the Invictus Games. So Help for Heroes have got a GB training camp sort of trial going on at Tedworth House. So I went down and had a go and got selected to do GB training for Paralympics. But they said they'd have to move to Guildford, and still living in North Wales. My daughter was just starting her GCSEs and my son was just starting high school. So that was a no-go. It was like, that would be too much of a sacrifice to put on them. So I declined that. Still doing the training and everything. Went to an archery GB classification. and got told that I wasn't disabled enough for that one, so can't do Great Britain archery for the Paralympics. So I'm like, right, okay, so throwing is the one then. So it's go to do throwing trials. The coach is over the moon. I'm smashing it. Like they're really happy. Going to the medical, and my ankles move 10 degrees too much to classify for GB throwing. So I'm stuck in this situation where I'm disabled, but I'm not disabled enough.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to be a professional athlete, but I can't be a professional athlete. And it was just awful. It was the coaches are going mad. They're shouting at the doctors, and the doctors are shouting. And it was such a horrible sort of place to be in. So, and all of this time, my ankles have been getting worse anyway, and I'm having more and more operations, and I don't know what to do, and my mental health is up and down, and this roller coaster that I live on, it's like life gives me a bit and then takes it all away again, and then gives me a bit more and then takes it all away again. It's really hard to cope with. You take a battering, and I constantly feel I'm never good enough.
But you are good enough. Let's look at before injury. You were instantly asked to be part of the Navy hockey team, right?
Yeah.
So you've got so much skill. Even before you got in the Navy, you've not quite done well at school, but then you've just got a tutor to help you, and then you knock it out the park with such high grades. And then there's that period of injury, but then look at what happens when you get to Invictus. You know, you're winning gold medals. Or before that, when you went to the trials, not the one that we did, but the one prior to that, you're winning gold. So I know life's given you stuff, but you're so freaking good at whatever you put your mind to. The only things that are going in your way are, like, as you were mentioning, civilians that don't understand the way the military teaches or something like that. So they're mini roadblocks. But you as a person, you're freaking awesome. And what you achieve when you put your mind to it is gold medal good. It's so good. Because when you and I went to Nellis Air Force Base, that's 2015. That's not the end of it, is it?
No.
Because 2016, you and I get selected for the Warrior Games.
Yes.
The Warrior Games, not the trials, but the actual Warrior Games.
Yeah.
And how did you do there?
2 gold medals.
In what?
Discus and shot put.
Smashed it again.
Yeah.
So you got all this stuff that's happening and you're training for it and you just knock it out of the park. So you as an individual are phenomenal. You put your mind to something, you knock it out of the park. All those tests you were talking about, you're just acing it all. So you've got stuff there. And yes, I know that the Paralympian people saying, hey, movement is too much or too little or whatever. They did that with me with archery. I'm not disabled enough either.
Yeah.
But I think for sure there's you've just got so much. You've got so much and it's hard to know where to pinpoint it.
Yes, that's
right?
it. Yeah.
So what's the last few years been like? Because now we're in 2020. You know, we've all gone through this world pandemic together. Mm-hmm. But what are you focusing on now? Are you still doing any sports?
No, I've sort of taken a back step on all of the sports and things, and been focusing on life and family, really. I've been helping veterans. We live on a farm. We've got alpacas and chickens, and getting veterans to come in and with PTSD and anxiety, and working with the animals and just helping them sort of move through life and do things like that. I'd love my own farm, but unfortunately we can't afford it, so it's difficult.
So So sorry,
So-
on that. So if veterans out there listening to this want to come up here,
Yes,
can
yeah.
they, can they?
Yes, yeah. It's we haven't got a lot of room. It's only a tiny little house, but it's one of those that we don't do it. We don't get any profit or anything. It's just sort of helping. I like to help. I'm here to help. So it's we just sort of muddle along, and everyone mucks in and like does the jobs, and it's it just helps sort of know that you're not on your own. Really, it's and having that bit of military injection of humour and people taking the mickey out of each other and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's, it's good. It's
Bit of banter.
yes, yeah.
And so what else are you guys doing? Or
I'm signing up to do a master's in sustainable energy production. So basically, solar power, hydroelectric, and wind. So it's I've sort of I've had ideas about sort of how to not save the planet, but to make a difference. So my plan is to get my master's and then advise people on how to get their homes out. And if I can get it where every veteran is not paying an electricity or gas company, that would be my goal.
nice,
Yeah.
nice.
So it's and then I've got designs for hydrogen engines and for planes and cars and all sorts of stuff. So it's
Brilliant.
a bit of engineering coming out. It's good.
So it sounds like you're doing okay.
Yes, yeah. My mental health is a constant struggle. I still have suicidal thoughts, but through talking to psychiatrists and counsellors and everything, I know that most people have suicidal thoughts. It's a part of everyday life for some people, and it's not a bad thing. You shouldn't beat yourself up about it. It's knowing that it's the chemicals in your brain, the monkey that's inside your head is messing with you. I found that EFT, which is tapping therapy, works really well for me. I can thoroughly recommend that. I was walking with the Wounded charity and skiing for Heroes. They introduced me to the tapping therapy, which is brilliant. You can look it on YouTube, and you can tap for anything. It works on the acupuncture points.
Okay.
So I'd thoroughly recommend that for everybody. That really helps with me.
Nice.
I meditate daily, so breathing just slows everything down, and I'm doing it's not so much art, but I've taught myself to weld, so I'm making sculptures out of metal and scrap metal. I like using things that people throw away, pallets and scrap metal. It reminds me of me. I'm broken and they're broken, but I can make them into useful things that people want. So it's sort of
Brilliant.
That's how I sort of live my life now.
That's good. And I think that's a part of this podcast. You know, this is still very new, but hopefully little bits from this can come out and just give somebody that insight that maybe they think they are alone, but they're not.
No, they're not. We're all part of the same family.
Yes, we might be veterans now, but if we can get together, we will.
Yeah.
Have a chat. It's all good.
Yeah. Please, like, people, if they want to talk to me, I do reply. So contact me on social media. So
Yeah, and I'll get those details, and we'll put that on so people can find you.
yeah,
But thank you so much.
no problem.
That's quite a roller coaster.
Yes,
but,
that's it.
But was it good for you?
Yeah, it's like a therapy session.
Yeah. Is there anything else you want to share?
No, I think
Yeah.
we've gone through everything. It's it's strange when you talk about your own life, but it's
It
been
is.
good. I like it.
Fantastic. Well, like I say, thank you so much for sharing, and thank you for your time as well, and also thank you for your service.
No problem. Thank you very much.
That's okay. This has been Military Veterans Podcast. Out.